Thank you very much, Palani. I think Dr. Palani has set the stage to speak to industrialization as the lead agency promoting industrialization in Uganda. And for those of you who have not been to the Industrial Research Center, please try and maybe engage Doctor here to invite you, because there is a lot of work being done there. There are innovations across the different sectors that are being developed within the Research Institute is really mind-boggling, and amazing work Ugandans are doing. But we want to speak along the lines of not industrialization now, but it's industrialization with a mindset of climate resilience. How much are you doing as an institute, as a research center, to innovate for industrialization? And of course, as Palani said, we must think about increasing the production of our own products and goods here in Uganda. How are we speaking to the climate resilience, even as you continue to promote industrialization? What is it you're doing as a center that is speaking to climate resilience and this climate resilience development agenda?
Yeah, thank you, Maurice. Basically, I think my point of departure is dialogue. The fact that as a country, we have already committed to accelerated industrialization. And most aspects of industrialization run counter to the interests of water and environmental intervention. Because accelerating industrialization not only demands for higher quantities of water, high premium processed water at that, but it also, like previous speakers have said, generates several grades of wastewater, which requires treatment, chemical, biological, and other techniques. And those treatment processes, probably what didn't come out very well, are themselves industrial in nature and scale. So what we end up with is a vicious cycle, where even the processes you're trying to use to solve a problem are compounding a problem, because our footprint for energy in waste treatment, in incineration, also affects the environment. So in a nutshell, it's a very big problem. But as UIRI, as Uganda Industrial Research Institute, there are a number of interventions that we are at the forefront of promoting. But our existence is, of course, a reflection of the commitment of the country towards helping with the problem at hand. But there are a number of things we can do, and very quickly I can mention. Number one, utilizing technologies and production processes that minimize wastewater. And when we, at UIRI, we talk about appropriate technology and promote appropriate technology, that's one of the factors we look at. Number two, replacing outdated machinery and equipment that is not helping us with regard to water and energy efficiency. Again, our institution is playing a lead role in promoting that. Then there's minimizing the amount of water that you can use in production. And when we train, that's one of the areas we touch on, because Professor Kala, previous speaker, said, you look at water as money, what it can do for you, save for you, then you start to respect it, and you respect the environment by extension. Then I liked what Professor Kala said in his keynote speech, where he said you don't have to use drinking water or drinking water grade for everything, because you can reuse non-potable water for other operations process. And if you're running a factory, I wish there were manufacturers here, you'll go inside the factory space and find all of these water conservation measures, but you walk outside and they're sprinkling the lawns with huge volumes of water. So that's an issue of sensitization, of understanding, aligning mindsets so that people appreciate water in its totality, not just in the mainstream of manufacturing. There's a lot we can do to optimize production processes using new technologies. We're in the fourth industrial revolution now. There's a lot you can do with gadgets, with digitization, to help you control even the toilets in the bathrooms. What are we doing there? So it's a broad problem, but there are very, very many things we can do in terms of retrofitting our existing factories as they are, reduce the footprint of water consumption. Last but not least, it's the attitude. With all the technology and efficient technology in the world, your operator is not sensitized to the importance and the doctrine of solving water and environmental conservation. You will find that the practices of your operator negate all the efforts you're doing on the technology front. So one of the things we do as an institution is train people and communities to appreciate those simple things, even before they interface with production.
There was an evaluation of the resolutions from COP last week. I think the team was here in the same building, already looking at the protocol signed, and also Uganda's what was Uganda's direction, speaking from the resolutions of COP27. I'll quickly come to Dr. Dick, and then I'll come to Palani, and finally Chizito. If it's a burning one, Mildred, I see a hand there. So I'll come to you, Dick. Let's speak to, as Mildred goes there, the fourth industrial revolution. And how can we benefit from this fourth industrial revolution as we talk about water security in a minute? If you're able to. I know it's too much for a minute, but you'll try.
Yeah, that's a big challenge. But the fourth industrial revolution really has opportunities and offer us in terms of dealing with water resource management and environmental protection. And mainly, one of the factors we can exploit is use of blockchain technologies for improved water resource management. There's a lot we can do in that area. Because they offer, for example, capacity to enable us have households, agriculturalists, industrialists, water resource managers, and even the policymakers that we're talking about access the same data. One of the problems is the data I access to make informed decision. So if you have leakages in the data or disparities in the data, it becomes very difficult to plan for what is a very big resource, because water is life, and we all interface in it. Mwananchi is interfacing it, and as much as very good ministry is, industrialists are using it, but unless the data we access is on the same platform with reliability, then we're going to have constant struggles. And this is an area, when Professor Kala was presenting, he talked about where Africa is lagging behind, Uganda being no exception, in terms of adaptation, the speed at which we adapt. One of the glaring problems is data. In our capacity to deal with, so we look at things like big data and artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Our connectivity on the Internet being a weak means that even when the data is available, we are probably not receiving it as dynamically as we should. But these are things we can embrace because I think, unlike the previous revolutions, 4IR allows us to somehow catch up faster in some areas, and I think this is one of them.
All right.
Where we have an opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I know I put you on the spot.
And as well, Dr. Dick Kamugasha, I think you shouldn't be so far away because the next one will be going to you, Dr. Dick Kamugasha. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. It's incredible. It's for the development of Uganda. And I love that we're looking at the future to come, the future generations, that all the work that's being done with regard to environment is not just for us, but for those who will come right after us. Can we be able to bequeath a beautiful environment, a beautiful country to the next generation? That is the biggest question that ought to be answered every day. Okay, it's not done until it's done. So I am going to request